As we know, our world is shrouded in mysteries, from the possibility of Bigfoot to the possibility of UFOs. Every corner of the globe has some kind of mystery associated with it. However, one of those mysteries is the Bermuda Triangle, a place where things simply enter but never come out of. To this day, the Bermuda Triangle is a place where their cases have yet to be fully supported or explained, leading many to still wonder what is truly going on in the area. Throughout the past 500 years, the Bermuda Triangle has been a place where hundreds of thousands of ships, planes, and people have mysteriously vanished without a trace, leaving with their causes still not being determined up to this day. I really like mysteries. I think they're really cool and interesting, and I really want to dive deep into several of these mysteries, including the Bermuda Triangle, to really try to figure out what is the root cause of these mysteries and try to figure out if we can put some light to these questions. So now you may be wondering, what is the Bermuda Triangle? In geographical terms, the Bermuda Triangle, perfectly described by the National Ocean Service, is a region of the western part of the North Atlantic Ocean where ships, planes, and people thus mysteriously vanished. A lesser known name for it is also the Devil's Triangle, due to the amount of lives that have been taken by the area. The area is encompassed by three main points, that being off the coast of Miami, Florida, the second being off San Juan, Puerto Rico, and the third being the island of Bermuda. Many people believe that the tale of the Bermuda Triangle is one that has recently been starting to be talked about, but however, that is far from the case. Cases of weird occurrences happening in the area go as far back as Christopher Columbus. So when Columbus was traveling to the New World in his many voyages back in the late 1490s, he brought along a lot of historians to document his journeys. One of those historians, Bartolomeu de las Casas, described in his journal several really weird events that happened, and thanks to a website detailing these accounts. These accounts describe many weird things, such as weird lights coming out of the ocean and flying off into space, and some accounts are about their compasses not working. Back then, the compasses were a new piece of technology, and many people were really well fond of them. However, they were acting out so weirdly that it really deeply disturbed the crew members of the ships. They'd never seen anything like this before. As ever since as early as those accounts, there's always been a lot of weird things happening in the area. However, it wasn't until 1945 where the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle really started to come into light, and that is with the disappearance of Flight 19. Flight 19 was a naval training exercise consisting of 14 men flying 5 total planes. They were doing a simple navigational exercise off the coast of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. So after taking off, they had constant communication between the leading captain, Lieutenant Charles Taylor, and the command base back in Fort Lauderdale. Throughout the journey, the lieutenant kept telling command that they were having troubles with their compasses. They were just going out of whack. And according to the history article about the event, back in 1945, they didn't have GPS or any landmarks in the ocean. Their compass was the only way of knowing where they were traveling. And since their compasses weren't working as intended, they spent the whole day traveling around in random directions. This soon led them to tell command they were going to have to ditch in the ocean as they were out of fuel. This then prompted the command base to send out a search and rescue team consisting of several PBS Mariner planes. However, on their mission, they found no sign of the flight. No plane wreckages, no life preservers, no airmen at all. To make matters even more weirder, one of the search planes also mysteriously vanished as well. There was no communication between the command base and the search plane, or the search plane with the other search planes. It has simply left the base and never returned. After these occurrences, the Navy decided to call off the case in the search and to say that disappearances were caused by pilot error. However, the event still troubled and puzzled many members of the Navy and many people that heard about it, and still led to more investigations by smaller teams. So Flight 19 was so big, in fact, where in the 1960s, a journalist by the name of Vincent Gaddis first coined the phrase the Bermuda Triangle as he was writing a cover story about Flight 19. And once this phrase came out and this story came to light, this prompted many people to really start to associate a lot of weird occurrences and disappearances in that region of the ocean with the Bermuda Triangle. And one of these reports was one of another U.S. Navy incident, and that was the USS Cyclops. This was back in 1918, so about 25 years before Flight 19. So the USS Cyclops was one of the largest ships in the U.S. Navy at the time. It was meant to transport large amounts of cargo around the world. On a routine trip back from Brazil back to Baltimore, Maryland, the ship was going to travel through the area of the Bermuda Triangle. They only sent one transmission, and that was, "What the weather is fair, all is well." And that was the last they ever heard of the ship. What was really odd about this ship is, according to a National Geographic website, a ship that large simply does not go missing without a trace. There should be some kind of wreckage behind, either it be a piece of plywood, a cargo container, or a life preserver from a supposed sailor. There had to be some kind of evidence left behind, but that was not the case. The Navy, as with Flight 19, did a large search of the area for the ship, but found nothing in remains. To perfectly describe the event, a Santa Fe magazine describing the event several years later perfectly described the weirdness of the event. And it goes like this. She thus disappeared as though some gigantic monster of the sea had grabbed her, men and all, and sent her into the depths of the ocean. And the suddenness of her destruction is amplified by the absence of any wireless calls for help being picked up. Simply, the ship just vanished without a trace, which is, at the time was widely unknown of and really, really weird. To even increase the weirdness of the area, about 3 years after Vincent Gaddis released his cover story of Flight 19, a passenger boat off the coast of Miami, Florida, also disappeared. This is in 1967, where a captain by the name of Dan Burke and his friend Patrick Hogan took off in his boat, the Witchcraft, off the coast of Miami to view Christmas lights. About a mile off of the shore, they radioed the Coast Guard saying that they hit something, but the damage was not significant. In response, the Coast Guard sent out a team to go find them and eventually tow them back into shore. However, when the Coast Guard arrived, they found, again, no trace of the ship. And to make matters even weirder, when they're looking at old schematics of the ship, they saw that the ship had multiple lifeboats, life jackets, flares, and distress radios, meaning that they had many different ways to communicate their location after they sunk, which didn't happen. Also, the ship hull was designed to where it was pretty much unsinkable unless a big enough force hit it and sunk it. After countless days of searching, the Coast Guard assumed that the ship was lost, and up to this day, still nothing was found of the ship or the two-man crew aboard it. So as you could hear, the Bermuda Triangle is a place of many weird mysteries and occurrences. Many of these disappearances have yet to be solved. Many of them are unexplained. Many of them are sudden with little info. I hope after this presentation that people can go and look into some of the other mysteries surrounding the area. We can maybe start to notice some patterns between different occurrences and events, and maybe we can start linking together some key items and terms that can hopefully lead us to find an overall conclusion to why the Bermuda Triangle is so notoriously known for these weird disappearances. Just remember, if you're ever in the area of the Bermuda Triangle, be warned. You never know what may happen to you. Thank you for listening.